slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
How to run effortlessly, I wish was an overnight process. And as you all know, as middle to long distance runners, you're not going to run effortlessly without having put in that consistent weekly mileage, monthly mileage, and stayed consistent with your workouts. Okay, everybody wants to run effortlessly. Everybody wants to look great, be at the weight they want to be at, and to do things easily. And to get to that point where you're running effortlessly and you're doing things effortlessly, you have to stay consistent. You have to you have to make a plan and you have to stick to that plan. Okay, each week I make videos here on YouTube. My goal is to make between 2 to 3 videos each week, every single week. I don't sway from that. And the same with everything else that I'm doing. When I'm training for a marathon or when I'm training for a race, or if I have a goal in mind, or if I have something that inspires me, I aim to stick at that particular plan that I've made for myself. And that's really whatever you're aiming for. If you're trying to run a faster 5K, if you're trying to run a faster half marathon or run your first marathon, you have to make your plan and you have to stick to it, and you have to make sure that regardless if there's ups and downs along the way, you're going to stay consistent with what you're doing. Running effortlessly definitely comes about as you train at faster paces than your goal race pace. That's why I always talk about running faster long runs, getting out on the track and stressing your energy systems of your body and getting to a point where race pace feels more easy for you so that you can sustain that race pace over a longer period of time. And you're not going to be able to do that if you're not stressing yourself. I know it's not fun. I know there's times where you're going to want to quit. There's times where you're going to doubt yourself. There's times where you really want to have somebody else out there helping you when you're putting in the mileage, when you're putting in those tempo runs, when you're out there doing your long runs, or maybe when you're out on the track, and you really love to have somebody else out there with you, pushing you along the way. And I know it's a challenge at times, but my best advice is just to stay motivated, find something that's going to drive you to continue to put in the work. You're not going to run effortlessly unless you're motivated and you're driven enough to be able to train for a significant amount of time. If you're training for a marathon and you're giving yourself 4 weeks or 8 weeks, you're going to build some general fitness, but you're not going to prepare yourself adequately for a marathon in that short amount of time. 1 to 2 months. 1 to 2 months is what you should be putting in for aerobic base mileage before you even start a marathon training block. Okay, so a lot of runners will just jump into an 8-week training block. What have you done prior to that? Have you done some strides each week for several weeks? Have you done some weekly mileage? Have you put in at least 3 to 4 or 5 weeks of mileage before you've even started that program? So I think that, running effortlessly, you get to that point after you've spent several months, several weeks minimum, but several months training for your event. I think jumping the gun and trying to jump into speed training and jumping into faster workouts before you've built any type of aerobic fitness first will make you start to doubt what you're doing, and obviously that's going to affect you psychologically as well. So I think in terms of how to run effortlessly, making your plan, deciding what you want to do, and then stay consistent with your mileage, stay consistent with the plan that you've made for yourself, and sticking to that. Training at paces that are going to challenge you, that's going to take you beyond what you think you're capable of physically and mentally at times is absolutely vital. Okay, that's why doing speed workouts, doing hill repetitions, doing a combination of strength training, cross training, doing those hard tempo workouts and fartlek workouts. Maybe that's like doing 10 2 minutes hard, 1 minute easy, and doing that on the road, or doing, a tempo run, 4 to 5 mile tempo run where you're running around 90% of your max heart rate. That is not easy. It's not easy to go out there and to train at faster paces. It's not easy when the weather doesn't it's not perfect when it's hot out. Here in Michigan, it's very hot. It's supposed to be in the 90s for like the next 10 days straight. Or if you're in Texas, or if you're in Alabama, or in other parts of the world, Mexico, or other parts of the world where it's hot, it's a challenge to get out there and put in the work. But it's that consistency over a long period of time that makes running feel effortlessly. You do get to a point where you're in that flow state where, when you're in a race where you've tapered down, where you've dropped your volume at the proper time, where you've dropped your intensity at the proper time, where all that starts to pay off. And you run effortlessly after you've calloused yourself both mentally and physically, and you've put in the hard training over a 16-week block or 24-week block of training, where you've given yourself adequate time to prepare to run effortlessly. Because this is not a sport where that great fitness and great times happen overnight. Several times in most cases, it takes several months and several years to run effortlessly. Okay, when I ran 2:19 for the marathon, I was running effortlessly. Okay, I hit the 20-mile mark in that race in 1:44:05. It was 5:11 mile pace. The way it felt when I got to 20 miles in that race, I felt like I was running 6-minute mile pace. And I had no idea how fast. I did have an idea of how fast we were running. We hit the 10-mile mark at 51:27. Hit the half marathon at 1:07:09. In that race, that was of all my races, that was probably the one I felt the most effortless at until the last 5 kilometers. In fact, I was in more pain in the last 5 kilometers of that race than I think I've been in any race of my life. So I didn't really start to really feel extreme pain until mile 23. But I do know that I was running effortlessly because, again, I was spending so much of my time running down. When I was doing my speed workouts, I was running down toward 4:10 to 4:20 mile pace. So again, running at 5:11 mile pace felt effortlessly because I was spending a significant amount of my training under 5-minute mile pace, a lot of times down under 4:30 mile pace. So you get that effortless feeling over several months of training, over significant, of providing yourself adequate time for your body to adapt to what you're throwing at it. And again, it takes about 28 days for the body to adapt to the stresses you're placing on it. So if today you're struggling to hold 8 miles at 8-minute mile pace, give yourself about a month. Okay, a month, 8-minute mile pace is not going to feel hard anymore. You're going to notice the differences. Your paces are going to feel easier. Your heart rate is going to be at lower heart rates, but you're going to be running at faster paces. Even as my build-up right now for Valencia Marathon, I look at the training I was doing in like February, March timeframe. My heart rate was higher. My paces per mile or per kilometer were much slower. And now I'm noticing the heart rate that I'm running at now that I was running at in February and March. I'm running at the same heart rate, but my pace per mile or pace per kilometer is significantly faster. Okay, the tempo run pace I'm running at now versus when I was running in February and March, June, February and March and May timeframe is much faster as well. So again, it's all about patience. It's all about consistent work. If you don't have the drive and motivation to do this, if you can't find a reason to stay consistent and to do it over a long enough period of time, running effortlessly isn't going to occur. Okay, you run effortlessly by that consistent action, by that drive to go after something that you're aiming for, whether that's to lose weight, whether that's to run a fast time, whether that's to start a business, whatever it is you're aiming for. It gets effortless the more consistent you are and the more repetitive, the more you do something over a long enough period of time, it becomes easier, it becomes effortless because you've done it so many times. So I hope this video is helpful for you in terms of how to run effortlessly. I know it's a struggle each day at times to get out there and put in the work, but again, it gets easier. It does get easier, but it's going to take consistent action on your part. It's not going to be an easy process, but it does, again, get easier over time the more you do it. So thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best in your training and in your upcoming races. If you want to get to the next level in your training, in your preparation for your upcoming races, definitely check out the resources below these videos or on RunDreamAchieve.com. And I definitely have full confidence that they will help you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.